Hey, how's it going, guys? So today I'm going to be reviewing the Comica MV10 Pro. It is a mini super cardioid digital shotgun microphone. It's also analog as well, but we'll kind of ignore that for now for the box. Box is actually empty, so we'll toss that. Here's the case it actually comes in. It's actually a really nice case. I've had this microphone for a few weeks now to kind of test it out and see what I think of it. It's really great. Has a nice little Comica logo, as you can see. Inside the actual case, you get all this stuff. This is huge advantage. Like, this retails, I think I got this for like a little more than $40, so that's actually a really good deal. I have a very significantly more expensive microphone than this, and it had no case it came with. So, some things that actually comes with is a shock mount microphone, obviously, the windscreen, a USB-C to USB-C for your phone, because it's a digital microphone, TRRS to TRRS for those of you that still have a phone with a jack, and then TRRS to TRRS for your microphone out port for your mirrorless camera if you decide to use that. Pulling out the actual microphone here, you can see, we'll start from the front side and then kind of go over the top. So the front of it, here's the end address of it. So this is where you would actually speak into. So it's an end address short shotgun microphone. Going on the side here, there is the out for the digital. So the USB-C, so plug into iPhone or Android. Going to the back of it, this is a direct monitor or a output for you if you're going to be using it for just a more of an analog version. On the other side, nothing. And then on the top, you have a stepless gain knob, which is just a fancy way of saying a sucky knob. This thing, I wish it was a step gain knob that had a notch. This thing is one of the downsides. It does feel pretty cheap. And then digital out, and then analog switch. And then at the very end here has a little blue light that will click on it when it actually is in power. Looking at it when it comes to the actual case itself, or not the case, but the shock mount itself, looks pretty good, pretty nice and professional if you're going to be using it out in the field, which is why I'm making this video. This is for people that want to use this for phone, for content creating. I really think this is a big game changer for a lot of people that want that sort of thing, where you want to be like, hey, man, I want to make better audio for my phone. And this is a lot less conspicuous when you're out in public if you're going to make TikToks, vlogging, or if you're going to if you're going to even live stream on Kick, because you could use something that's like a little more professional. Like, this is significantly more expensive. This is a Rode Video Mic NTG. It's like $250. It's like $40. The price is a big thing on it, but look at the size of it. And this is the big point I'm trying to like bring home to people, is it kind of make me look like a jerk when I'm walking around with this big microphone with my phone, because you can see this microphone here and you look at it compared with my phone. Like, look at that. That thing's huge. Like, you have this big giant thing on the top of it. It makes me look a little bit like a jerk. Not saying you guys look like a jerk. I'm just saying I feel like I look like a jerk. Versus this little guy, a lot tinier, and as you can see, it's not as bad as form factor, so it's a little less conspicuous. I feel less of a jerk recording. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents on that. Let's see how it actually sounds. I'll plug it into my computer first with the USB-C, and you can get a feel for how it sounds. And then let's switch to my phone, and I'll test out a couple different field settings, and then give my final thoughts on it. Okay, so here's what the microphone sounds like plugged in. So I don't even know where I have the gain set up at. So this is it up all the way. So way too loud. We'll go down. Kind of has some handling noise. This is at 0. It doesn't always get back to 0. So this is probably, I wish I knew where it was actually at. So, I'm fairly a little bit far away. This is really how you'd have it. Like, you'd actually have it a little bit farther out if you're going to use it for your phone. It does catch a little bit of the room, and this is a really well treated room. Looking at it with you going from the side, sounds not too bad. Going from the back, you'll hear a little bit of less sensitivity, more side, and then backwards to the front. Let me switch this around. Got on my selfie stick. So let's go over some of the technical specs of it first, and then we'll go ahead and kind of from there switch to my phone and go test it out in the field a little bit and see really how it sounds. So this is a super cardiopolar pattern, which means it's very narrow in the front here. In analog mode, if you're going to be using that, its sensitivity is 35 decibels plus or minus 2 dB. Digital mode, it's 15 decibels, probably low end. High end is 35 decibels plus or minus 2. Frequency response is going to be 60 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That's completely fine since this is mostly used for actual recording of voice, so not as much instruments. So you don't need that really, really low end. You technically don't even need that really high end because the human voice doesn't even get up that high. Looking at the max SPL, it's 120. That's really high, given the fact that a Shure SM57, which handles super loud stuff, is at what's it at? It's at like 135, so that's pretty respectable. Signal to noise ratio is 70 dB. On equivalent noise is 24 decibels. I don't know what that would be. Dynamic range is 96 decibels. Now here's the really impressive part about this. The sample rate and bit depth. Sample rate is 48, which is perfectly fine. That's what most videos at. But the bit depth is 24-bit. That's super impressive given the fact this is only $40. Most of it is only at 16-bit, so that's pretty darn cool. Output's TRRS. It's a 3.5 millimeter jack. Diameter is 22 millimeters and length is 92 millimeters, so really tiny. Weight is 37 grams. And working temperature is 0 Celsius to 50 Celsius. That's like 32 degrees to 122, around there. And then like it goes, then storage is negative 20 Celsius, and then 60 Celsius, which is like 140, which is like oven temperature. Like, so this thing works pretty optimal in hot conditions, not as well as super cold, but that's just the thing that they tested out. So that's pretty much it. The only other thing I can tell about is the plosives aren't the greatest on this thing. Like you can really pop that thing bad. So making sure that you have better microphone technique, maybe throw the dead cat on there that it comes with. But either way, let's go ahead and test it on the phone now and get a feel for it, and then we'll go ahead and test into some other some settings that you would potentially record in, and then wrap this video up. All right, so this is with my phone's internal microphones. This is what it sounds like. It's about selfie distance away if I was going to be making a selfie using this phone. So the big thing to note is I am in a very well treated space, so this is pretty much the best possible condition you could be recording a phone selfie distance away. So this is what it sounds like. Does it sound better, worse? We'll see. So, but yeah, this is pretty much the best setting you could have a phone being recorded in. So let's go ahead and check out what else. Okay, so this is the microphone right now that I got. It's got it on the lower mount, so it's easier to point towards my mouth. It's about a selfie distance away. So this is it, again, in a well-treated room. So this is the best, technically, you could have it. The gain's up roughly kind of like a quarter of the way. Here's kind of, I've done the adjustments before, but it's kind of hard to really get the adjustments kind of right because of that stepless gain knob. But yeah, this is what it sounds like compared to my regular phone. So let's go ahead and test in a couple different other settings and wrap the video up. Okay, so here's the NV10 Pro with my phone in a very untreated space. This is one of my bathrooms. So as you can see, really reverberated, and this is probably one of the worst possible ways you can have recording your phone is here in the actual echoey room. So let me just compare it to my actual phone speakers. You can kind of hear the difference. Maybe there's none because it's such a bad space to be treated in. All right, so here I am with my phone's internal microphone like arm distance away. So this is in the worst treated space possible I can think of in my house. So is it any better or worse than the Comica? So I mean, you be the judge. But yeah, this is really in one of the worst possible settings. Now, I imagine the improvement's not going to be significantly better, but this is just goes to show you maybe you should always be in a well-treated room, or at least have some treatment, because if you're always filming in the bathroom, it's going to sound like this. So let's go ahead and do some other tests, and then yeah, comparison the two. Okay, so this is the Comica V10 Pro outside. So there's a bit of a breeze going on. I have the dead cat on, so you will hear it affect actually a little bit of the higher end, because it does make the higher end a little bit less profound. So, but this is what it sounds like, you know, a little bit distant away. Like I said, you can kind of hear the wind blowing. Maybe you can't. So yeah, this is with the dead cat on. So let's go ahead and switch to my phone and kind of see how it sounds with it being outside. All right, so this is with the phone's just internal speakers. So you can probably will hear a little bit more noise around me, and that's mostly because it is a omnidirectional microphones on the actual phone. So because of that, it actually will catch more of birds chirping and stuff. Some people do like that for their vlogs. It sometimes can make the experience a little more immersive. But if you're really just trying to focus on what you're saying and don't want to distract like somebody's air conditioner, then, you know, this kind of comparison between the two, with how much more isolated the shotgun microphone, the short shotgun Comica, is compared to the internal ones. And you might catch some of the wind that's possibly bumping through. So yeah, let's get to another test and see how it sounds. All right, so now we're doing probably one of by far the most popular places to record. A lot of TikToks, Instagram ones are recorded in your car. So this is what it sounds like with the Comica V10 Pro in the car in this kind of area. There are some flat surfaces, so it is going to be a little bit boxy sounding, but that's to be expected given the nature of the car. So let's go ahead and switch to my phone's microphone and see how it sounds compared to the V10 Pro. Okay, and then this is a comparison of the actual phone microphone. So you could probably hear more flat surfaces going on inside the vehicle. Like I said, that's because, again, it's an omnidirectional, not a cardioid or super cardioid. So it's going to catch everything around, including any boxy. So it's probably going to sound really boxy, just like a little bit like the other one. But, you know, this is what it would sound like if you're going to be in a car. So a lot of your TikToks, a lot of your Instagram videos, Facebook, whatever you use, Twitter, if you're filming in your car, it's going to sound like this using your internal speaker about. So let's go ahead and see what it sounds like when the car is in motion. Don't worry, I'm not going to be holding my phone while driving. Don't freak out. I'm going to use a little mount. It's going to be plopped right up here. So that way I don't have to be holding the phone while driving. So you can kind of see how it sounds when you have a lot of other ambient noise going on in a car in motion, because it's a lot different. So yeah, let's check that out. Okay, so right now I have the car in motion, driving. As you can see, it's I got the AC blaring because it's pretty hot out. You can hear some of the other surrounding background noise. So this is what it sound like with the Comica V10 Pro in the car. So it's, I would say, probably 6, maybe 7 inches from my mouth, or nah, actually it's more like 12, about 12 inches from my mouth. So this is kind of what it sounds like. You can hear when you have the car moving, everything else. Hopefully it sounds okay. So let's go to compare it to the actual internal speaker or internal microphones inside my phone and see if there's a huge difference or not. Okay, right now, exact same scenario. I got my internal speakers though instead of my external ones. So this is what it sounds like. HD is still blasting, still driving the car, and maybe you can hear a difference. So if you can't, I don't have monitors on for just my phone, so I couldn't tell you what it sounds like, if it's good or not. The other thing is, if I'm not focusing on the camera, it's because I'm trying to drive and not crash the car. But yeah, that's what it sounds like compared to the actual phone speaker, or the phone speaker compared to the Comica. Maybe there's a big difference, maybe there's not. I've tested it out before, and I thought that there was a huge difference in both hearing the internal mic, or just hearing all the types of background noise, especially when you get on like the freeway if you're going to be driving. All right, well, let's go ahead and do another test and then see how they sound compared to the two. All right, because I'm both annoying and thorough, I decided to test this in the most worst, windiest setting. So this is me riding a bike. So I have a mount here. Let's go ahead and turn down the gain. So this is the gain turning all the way down, so you can kind of have the wind a little bit less and having it pointed a little more up. I almost just crashed my bike. So this is what it sounds like in the worst windy setting possible with you riding a bike using a mount. So let's go ahead and see how it sounds with just my speaker on my phone. So not just the, so it's right now we're using the Comica NV10. Get a little tired. Ugh. All right now we have just the phone internal speaker. So this is with my just the speaker, and this is probably the worst windy setting you could possibly have. I don't even know if you guys could hear me. I mean, because I can't have any direct monitoring, so it was not blowing too bad, but this would be in the worst possible windiest setting, is riding a bike. All right, so let's do one more test. I actually lied, and we'll see how it sounds. Oh man, I'm all hot and sweaty from riding that bike. Okay, like I said, I'm going to do one more test. Obviously, it's going to be a music test. I'll use my phone, both internal and starting with the Comica speaker, and kind of see how it sounds. I'm playing some music through my amp and see kind of if there's a bigger difference in recording. So if you want to record some stuff using your internal versus this external microphone. All right, so that's all the tests I have. So I went through pretty thoroughly through the microphone itself to make sure I got everything I could possibly think of. So this is mostly the setup I was using. It looks like this. So as you can see, if you're doing selfie mode, just be like that. You'd flip the microphone around. So looks not too inconspicuous. Looks, like I said, professional, but you don't look too much like an a-hole. Instead of having like this big guy on there, then it really kind of looks a little bit ridiculous. But the small one, it really doesn't matter. So it really just looks like you have like the selfie stick that you're going like that, but you have that microphone giving that extra quality. So the big pros to take away from this microphone is, one, sounds really a lot better than like most internal microphones because they're not stereo, omnidirectional. It's very focused on your voice. So it cuts a lot of the background out of your normal everyday recordings. The other thing is it has that really rugged construction, and it has an adjustable gain knob. That's super big. Even with this Video Road NTG, this does not have, it has a gain knob, but it's only for the analog mode. When you're putting in a digital, it does not have one. So I have actually, I've looked at so many different type of phone microphones, and I have not been able to find a single one thing that this one has in it. You can also has that direct monitoring out. That's huge because it also it works as like a USB-C microphone, so you can listen to apps on your phone. So if you want to listen to music while you're recording, and it won't capture any of that on your phone, you'll be able to hear it, or you're watching a video while you're talking to somebody if you really wanted to multitask on your phone. And it also allows you to use apps like Discord, Skype, Teams, whatever you want, Zoom. So you can use that as a USB out microphone. The only other one that really would be almost comparable would be the Shure MV88 Plus, but it's way more expensive. And I talked to the people at Shure, and they said it does not cover listening to other applications. So it doesn't work as a USB-C when you're using your phone, but it does on your computer. The other thing is that all the accessories, it comes with a carrying case, the windscreen, everything, not even the Rode or the Shure come with like a dead cat. And the carrying case is awesome. And it has the shock mount. It's small. It's great. It's a really good microphone for under $50, under $100. That's super good. Looking at the downside of things though, first off is the adjustable gain knob is flimsy. It feels a little bit cheap. The other thing is you can get some RF interference every once in a while. I have done recordings where I have seen some RF interference. It picks up on some static. It usually lasts about 30 seconds, maybe a little less, but it's still there. So there's some issue maybe with the shielding, like the Rode do not have that shielding issue. The other thing is it does, if you're getting critical with the listening, it does sound a little bit boxy sounding. Most cheaper microphones for some reason have some problem in the mid frequencies with my voice. But if you wanted to get into EQing, you can EQ that out. It's a lot better than trying to EQ your phone. And yeah, I would say that those are really like the big drawbacks on it. It doesn't do well with plosives, obviously, but you know, a lot of microphones that are short shotgun microphones don't anyway, so that's not that big a deal. Other than that, like this is, if you looking to make content and you want good quality audio, then this is really it. I mean, it's the cheapest, best option to really up your audio game if you're looking for doing it with your cell phone. I showed you every application you could possibly think of, and I've tested out so many different types of microphones on your phone, and this is really the best you can get. Comic's not paying for this. I paid for it with my own money. And yeah, I'll link also just the little mount I use too, as well as these cheaper headphones I got for only $13 and they're water resistant. This compared to everything really makes a big difference. And I really hope you guys at least check it out, give it a purchase, give it a listen to. And I think that a lot of people, this will check a lot of boxes for a lot of people. So very versatile microphone with a lot of features for really cheap. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment and I'll make sure to